I want to start with lifestyle and culture. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started with the cycling. I will say that I have experienced racism here. Like Dutch companies offer 5 weeks vacation, 6 weeks vacation, and then that's definitely the most budget-friendly way of traveling. Even eating at restaurants, like the quality and maintaining friendships and also like making new friends here. Anyways, let's move on to a more fun topic, which is traveling. So I'll start by saying that I do have 6 weeks vacation, which just, even now, it still blows my mind, like 6 weeks. Like when I first started working, like after I graduated, I had 2 weeks of vacation, like back at home in Toronto. And now I have 6 weeks. Like it's normal for like Dutch companies to offer 5 weeks vacation, 6 weeks vacation, and it's just like, wow, it's just such a privilege to have that time off. And that really speaks to like the culture that people have here are really like just taking time for yourself and doing things that, you know, that you value as a person, and your life is not work. Like I love that. And so with the 6 weeks vacation, we have been able to travel. We've been to France. I've been to Belgium and Iceland and UK by myself without Cameron. We've also been to Denmark and Sweden. So we have been to a bunch of places over the past few months, which has been super fun. And of course, we've explored locally as well within the Netherlands. The Netherlands is just, it's such a beautiful country. There's so many different cultures and different like niches, and it's just so nice to even travel locally as well for a day, even on the weekend. So it's been really nice. And my first impressions of traveling here is that like it's not as cheap or as convenient as I thought it would be. Like I hear like, you know, or like you even read in articles or whatever, it's like, oh, like Ryanair having these plane tickets for like 12 euros or something like that. And I'm sure you can get lucky and get those tickets, but like from Schiphol, which is the airport in Amsterdam, like there are only 2 destination flights that fly out of Schiphol using Ryanair, and that's to Ireland and Scotland, I believe. And like those are like the cheapest. Like Ryanair is like, you know, known for its like super cheap plane tickets, but like if you don't want to go to those destinations, like everything else is really expensive. Like even an hour flight to Manchester in November, that was like almost 300 euros. And even flying to Paris in the summer, that was like 200 euros. So don't get me wrong, it's not expensive, but it's like more expensive than I thought it would be. So that was a little bit of a surprise, but also I will say that I am not a planner, and nor is Cameron. I'm not interested particularly in like finding super cheap deals or like planning super far in advance. Like I don't know why it's so hard for me to do that. Like Cameron and I only plan our trips like when we know we have like a destination or like a time frame in mind. And so that probably also makes it more expensive as well. So if you are a more flexible traveler and you're willing to kind of do things a little bit more last minute, or if you are willing to kind of let the prices dictate your destination, then that's definitely the most budget-friendly way of traveling. That's just, I'm trying to be that person, but it's not easy to be in that kind of mindset. And also from here, it does take, from The Hague, from where we live, it does take about an hour to get to Schiphol. And so like when it takes an hour to get to Schiphol, and then you get to Schiphol 2 hours earlier than your flight, and oftentimes your destination airport is not in the city center, it becomes a lot longer than you expect. Like you add another 5 or 6 hours to your travel time. So it's not as convenient as I had hoped it to be, at least the way that we've been doing things so far, which I know is not the most optimal. But yeah, there are definitely trains to get to different countries as well. Like you can get to Belgium, France, you can get to like London, UK on train. And we haven't done that just yet. But those are definitely like more convenient options that may save time and money as well. But I will say you have to get lucky, well, not lucky, but you do have to plan in advance for those types of trips as well, because train tickets can get quite expensive. Like I have seen train tickets to London that are more expensive than flying. So you really have to just plan in advance or book really last minute. I don't know. It's hard to do. I'm kind of in between and I don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm sure I'm paying the price that way, but yeah, so traveling has been really fun. Yeah, it does come with its learning experiences as well. Okay, oh, I also want to talk about food here. Food is an interesting topic. Personally, like I love cooking and I love eating out at Chinese restaurants. Like Chinese food is my favorite. It's like my comfort food. It's what I've grown up eating and it reminds me of like my family and my mom and I love Chinese food. But good Chinese food here is like really scarce. And just even eating at restaurants, like the quality, you just have to knock your expectations down a little bit. But at the same time, you're still paying quite a little bit of money as well, whenever you're eating out. So it's not something that we do on a regular basis. I just find that, you know, if I'm going to be paying a lot for eating out, and if the food isn't even that good, then it's not worth it. And so it's just something that we don't really do that often. And even the Chinese food that we've tried here, it's like acclimated to like Dutch taste buds. It's like not authentic Chinese food, at least the Chinese food that I've had. There are a few places where I'm like, oh, slam dunk. There's this one restaurant in Amsterdam that I've been to twice called Wingay, and I love that place. I've only been to Amsterdam twice and I've been to that restaurant twice, so it's really good. And then here in The Hague, in the city center, there's also Full Moon City, which is also pretty authentic, but it's pretty expensive as well. So there is some good Chinese food, but for the most part, it's not great. And getting Chinese groceries is like not very convenient either. There is Amazing Oriental, which is an Asian grocery store in the city center, but again, it's pretty out of the way. Like we would have to go specifically to the city center to go there, which is about 15-20 minutes away. I'm going to move on from Chinese food now. Something else that I've really liked about like living here is that we go grocery shopping almost every day, I would say. We live to a Yumbo that's probably like a 3-minute walk from here, and it's just so convenient. The food is so fresh, and sometimes like when we would go to the grocery store and I would come back and be like, oh, I forgot something, and then I would just ask Cameron to go back and get it because it's just so convenient, and I love it. And in terms of like price differentiation between like Toronto and the Netherlands, I would say that the produce is generally pretty comparable, especially the stuff that is on sale. The prices didn't necessarily shock me, which was really nice. The only thing that did shock me was like the meat prices. So you know, like poultry, beef, seafood, all of that is like, wow, like super expensive. I did not expect that at all. I don't know exactly why it's so expensive, maybe because everything is imported. I really don't know. But yeah, we have learned to wind down on our meat consumption. Sometimes we do eat vegetarian and replace with like vegetarian proteins like tofu, lentils, chickpeas, just because it's just more budget friendly. We do eat meat still on a regular basis, but just not as frequently as we did before. So that is also part of our lifestyle nowadays as well. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to talk about was about family and friends. Like, what has it been like living abroad and maintaining friendships, and also like making new friends here? So I will say that the 6-hour time difference is not as big of a deal as I thought it would have been. We are 6 hours ahead of Toronto, which usually means when I call my friends and my family, I usually call them at night. which I'm totally fine with because I like, you know, being all cozy and showered and relaxing when I call my family and friends. So like I don't mind that at all. And so yeah, it has still been really nice to keep in touch with them on WhatsApp or FaceTime, whatever. But it's definitely not the same, right? Like nothing can really replace like being present physically with family and friends. And like even after I moved out of my family home, after we got married, I would still like go to my parents' house and work from home, or just be there, or like take a nap, or just do something. And even if we weren't doing anything special, like those are the moments that I miss, where it's just like being physically there with my family and just doing normal stuff with them. Yeah, that's definitely been hard, and especially in this time of year where it's Christmas and New Year's, it's not easy being apart. And so yeah, that's been tough. It's definitely not as easy to be as intentional as I was before. Can I come over this weekend, or like, do you want to go to the mall or whatever? Obviously none of that can happen anymore. So it's a little bit more lonely nowadays. But yeah, it's still like, I'm still very thankful for technology and that we still do keep in touch where we can. And in terms of making friends here, that has also been like an interesting experience. Like, of course we have Dan and Vanessa and we love them so much. And we probably see Dan and Vanessa like at least once a week, or maybe once every other week, whether they come over here or we go over to their place. We love them. Thank you, Dan and Vanessa, for being such good friends. And I've also started making friends at work as well with my colleagues. I've hosted a little dinner thing at my place like about a week ago, and a little story time here as well. Like when I first introduced myself like at my work, you know, sometimes you share like a fun fact about yourself, and I shared that like my favorite genre of movies is zombies. Is that even a genre? I don't know. But I just love zombie movies. That's kind of been like the running thing with my colleagues, where it's like, oh, like when are we gonna watch a zombie movie? And so I figured like the holidays is the perfect time, and so I invited a few of my colleagues, and we watched Zombieland, and we also had dinner here, and that was so nice. And I just love breaking down those barriers and just having that time to get to know each other outside of like the usual work setting. So that's been really nice. And also hanging out with colleagues like in other instances as well, like hung out with a few colleagues in Maastricht to go to a Christmas market, and actually tonight we're going to another friend's house to have like a New Year's dinner as well. So yeah, it's just it's slowly and surely getting there. I'm starting to make friends and get more comfortable, but it's not easy. Like, I'm definitely an introvert and a homebody, so it's not necessarily instinctual for me to like put myself out there, but it's been fun. It's been fun getting to know each other. So I think, yeah, that pretty much wraps up all the major updates that I wanted to share. If you're interested in hearing about any specific part of my experience so far, or if you have any other questions for me, I'd love to answer them. Yeah, just let me know. But I think that pretty much wraps up the video. So thank you for making it this far, and I'll see you in the next one.